Marriage starts off all love and roses, but after you've been together a while, things can turn a little thorny. With any marriage, there's some bumps in the road, but how do you know when your marriage is headed for divorce? Brad Robinson from Family and Life Solutions is here to tell us the signs that a marriage might be headed for divorce. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the signs that a couple might be headed for divorce?
The major signs, they're called the four horsemen of the apocalypse. That's because when
scary.
you see them, the end is near. And so the major signs to look for are criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling.
Okay, so let's break down each of those and,
Sure.
and what the signs are.
Yeah. Criticism is a complaint about your partner, their personality. It's blaming them for something that they did. Usually it starts with you never, you always. Why didn't you do these dishes? That's a complaint.
Okay.
And then when somebody's experiences a complaint, they get defensive.
Yeah, because they feel attacked.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's typically not picking on women, but typically how it goes is women, 70% of the time, are the ones that criticize. Men.
I saw that. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so crazy to me. 70% of the time, it's the women that
Yeah.
are that criticize.
Yeah.
So I guess that means the rest of so 70% of the men probably
Yeah.
are the ones that are defensive.
Yeah, then the men get defensive, and instead of apologizing because they feel their ego's been attacked, they get defensive, and then they criticize back. And then
Okay.
you've got this, you got people fighting, and nothing ever
Yeah.
gets solved.
Okay, and so then contempt would be the next
Yeah.
step.
Yeah, and contempt is basically a complete unliking of your partner or your spouse. You've reached the point, now with criticism or defensiveness, that's normal in healthy marriages as well. But marriages that are ailing, it gets to the point where there's so much of that, so much negativity in the marriage, there's not any positivity, and then contempt shows up. And this is where marital researchers, and I see this in my practice, when there's contempt, 94% of the time, the couple is headed for divorce when that shows up.
Wow.
And there's universal body language for that. Eye rolling, kind of the left dimple being pulled in. That is, when you see that, you know the end is near.
And then there's stonewalling, which
Yes.
is the last.
Yeah, and then they all tie into each other. And then when somebody experiences contempt, typically the man again, he will stonewall, and that's where his heart gets around 95, 100 beats a minute. And at that point, he just begins to shut down physiologically. His 95 beats a minute, he's no longer hearing what she's saying.
So there's a physical
There's a
aspect
physical
to
reaction,
this.
yeah. And then the man just shuts down emotionally. And then at that point, when there's enough of that, people are leading two different emotional lives.
But does this mean that their marriage is just over? Should
No,
they just
not
quit
at
now?
all.
What do
Not
they
at
do?
all. One of the great things about the recent breakthroughs in marriage counseling is we know how to fix people now. Before it was just the therapist's own bias, his ideas, other people's ideas. Now we know, because of scientific research, what causes a marriage to fail, but also, more importantly, how to make it work and what you can do. So there's different things you can do with each different stage of an argument. Like with criticism, the best thing to do is you still have to, people still feel like they got to get stuff off their chest. So the best thing to do is to complain without blaming. Use a gentle startup.
Eyes.
Yeah, use I statements.
Yes.
Talk about what you want and need using an I statement instead of talking about how the other person has let you down. And it's much the recipient of that is
Doesn't
much
feel
more
attacked, yeah.
Exactly.
So for more information, we can go to your website, right?
Yes, you can go to familyandlifesolutions.com. On there, I've got assessments, material on how to improve your marriage, a blog on this information that we're talking about today, and also what you can do to improve your marriage along with other stuff for the whole family.
Brad Robinson, thank you so much. This is a lot of useful information for our viewers out there. So thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thank you very much.